group. And Brad, you're going to pronounce your last name for me.
Like in ball, it's a fair ball.
Oh, fair ball. Okay. And he's a Veeam distinguished engineer. I made you distinguished. I know you're an engineer, but I figured I'd throw the distinguished part.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great to be here with you.
No problem. So let's get started and show you what we're going to be covering today. Obviously, we're doing the introduction right now. We're going to get an overview from Brad of the Availability Suite, what's new about it, what new features you'll be able to take advantage of. Things like the cloud now are a big part of version 9. There's a whole bunch of new advantages. We're going to go through a live demo, and I think you'll get a lot of information from the live demo and be able to maybe some of these steps that Brett's going to show you and integrate them into your backup strategy. And we're going to introduce a brand new product to you, Canopy, which I think you'll be pretty thrilled with. And some next steps, things that you could do that if you are a Veeam, you'll be able to upgrade. If you're not, then we'll talk about some things you can do to try Veeam going forward. Just want to give you just a little bit of information about Champion, who we are, why we're teaming up here with Veeam today. And we do 5 things Champion really well. Mobility is one of our strengths that we do. So any type of mobile device management, mobile application management, security and governance, it's something that we talk about every day with customers. The cloud. Everybody's getting into the cloud. We're one of the premier Office 365 partners in the world. We do a lot with public, private, and hybrid clouds. Cloud storage, that's a big part of what we're going to be talking about today. Veeam and with the Canopy product. Security, I can't go and talk to a customer unless we're talking something about security in our day-to-day conversations. And usually when we talk cloud, the question is, how is it secure, or how can I secure my access to the cloud? Data management, it's still a big part of what we do. And obviously, Veeam and cloud now, so this is really 2 of our 4 pillars that we were talking about: data management and analytics. And then, of course, services. We're a big services organization, anything from system and software integration all the way through education and training. That's what Champion does every day of the week. These are just some of the awards and accolades that we received over the years. As you can see, Microsoft thinks we're pretty good. VMware, we were the Infrastructure Partner of the Year just a couple of years ago. CRM put us in the top 250 tech companies. And Actifio, all these people out here, they do a pretty good job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over here to Brad. Let him be able to walk you through the new features of version 9 and do a live demo for you. Brad?
I understand we're having some sound quality issues, so if you can change that microphone, that would be perfect.
Let me switch out hardware here. This is part of our service offering. We're good at switching out hardware. So hold on 1 second, and I'll make a change here in the configuration. Now, a high-tech microphone.
This is the microphone. If you all see this, you'd be very impressed. And hopefully we'll get word back that you can hear me and the quality is okay. You want to check on that, Kevin, maybe?
Oh, go ahead.
So,
good, Brad.
A little about Veeam. So Veeam was founded in 2006. I understand that some of the folks are already Veeam customers, but I understand there's a lot that aren't. So we'll kind of give a brief Veeam overview. I think the goal here is to discuss what's new in version 9. So I would be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the key features that have really defined Veeam over the last few years, specifically our vPower technology, which came out in 2010, which we won Best of VMworld, and that was back in version 5. So we've continued to innovate and iterate, and I understand the sound quality is better, so fantastic. So the first, I guess, is, rapid recovery. And that's one of our pillars is high-speed recovery, and really focuses and is based on our vPower technology. I won't get into too much detail on that, but essentially the ability for us to recover a VM directly from the backup file, and something that we patented, and that we call that instant VM recovery. And what makes that great is that instead of having to restore an entire VM, let's say it was 1 terabyte in size, in traditional methods, it would probably take hours or lots of hours to do so. And we can simply pound that VM up from the backup file via what we call vPower NFS. Essentially, it's an NFS data store, and we do that very quickly. It's essentially the time it takes to get back up and running is the time it takes to boot the VM. From there, of course, we can use storage vMotion. Veeam will leverage that in its migration process, so it's transparent to the end user. So the downtime is limited to just a few minutes instead of several hours.
Well, the beauty of this, isn't this all integrated into vCenter? So it's all like, people really learn all these things. It's kind of intuitive if you know VMware, right? Oh,
for sure. In fact, it's what Veeam does, and you started with VMware, although I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we do have full support for Hyper-V, but specifically with VMware and with Hyper-V, we leverage their technologies to do this.
Okay. The other I brought that up, you said storage vMotion. In my mind, that meant VM.
That does, absolutely. So one of the other things that we really do well is lower the RPOs and streamline that recovery, right? And so, we lower those, obviously, those recovery points through things like our WAN acceleration and our integration with storage such as NetApp, AD, and now EMC. One of the things we do also really well is verify that our data is recoverable, right? So since in traditional methods you rely on a checksum, knowing that the data has been written from point A to point B, but with Veeam and with our vPower technology, we actually just automate booting the virtual machines up in an isolated environment, and we control lab, essentially, we create a virtual switch with no NICs, and it gives the ability to boot up an Active Directory domain controller, application servers, and you can do that in a bowl, if you want to call it that, or an isolated.
A fenced-in environment, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And no risk for IP conflicts, and you can test upgrades, or you can test your backups. You can bring them up, and we'll do a core backup job, which essentially does up the VM. It checks for open ports like 1433 for SQL, adds them down, and then sends you an additional report.
Everybody backs up, but the only thing you're backing up is to recover, right? I mean, so having a verified recoverable file, kind of a different thing.
Agreed. A 10-year-old with Xcopy can do a backup, but can recover it, right? And that's what Veeam does very, very well. So, with the virtual lab, we're creating an exact production environment. Why is that important? Well, when we're leveraging those backups of your production environment, you're going to do a test, and you were going to receive an error. You wouldn't necessarily receive it if it wasn't an exact copy, if it was just something similar.
Now, features inside version 9, or are these just enhanced features from previous versions?
So far, everything we've been doing, all of this has been since version 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Is visibility, and we have our V1 product, which is very granular visibility for advanced reporting and monitoring of your backup environment. It also does the same for your virtual environments, including VMware and Hyper-V. Primarily, it's there to give you lots of great reporting and report abilities and monitoring capabilities for your backup environment.
Look at performance. Will it look at time and downtime and things like that?
Oh, it's real-time monitoring. It's also going to give you things like forecast, capacity planning. That's what I was looking for.
Perfect. Okay.
So, and one that we really stress is the modern data center and our ability to protect the modern data center. So, what is the modern data center? That's actually what everyone's putting into today. Virtualization, sitting on modern storage, and of course, use cloud word there, right? That's certainly gaining a lot of momentum. We have the always on business, and what speed recovery and data loss avoidance and verification and ability to leverage that data and the complete visibility. What that does for you is give you the tools necessary to make sure that you can meet those RPOs and RTOs that your customer are demanding these days. We're going to discuss what's new in version 9. And I should ask, I'm not sure if we have a Q&A going on, or we would love to have questions from the audience. If that's coming in via a chat, then let's let that.
Built right into WebEx. One turnover, the session because I know you're going to be doing a live demo.
Yeah, I'll do the live demo.
Able to see the chat, and we can answer any questions that anybody posted.
Fantastic. Well, if you went and pass me the ball.
Okay. And here somewhere. Oh.
His escape.
Okay. Oh, no, that's not it. That's client here. Oh, are. And we are now switching over here to Brad.
Yeah, the mic. All right. Check our sound quality here. We'll get a. All right. Wonderful.
I can see your transfer.
And just put up the list of things to discuss. I wanted to show them to you in the Veeam interface. So if you haven't seen the Veeam interface, this is version 9. It's slightly different look, but pretty much the same. So I'll kind of go down a list of items that I have. So the first thing to mention is we added to our, and one that I like a lot is added to our storage integration.
Brad.
So we've had storage integration at an array level with HP, with NetApp, and now we've introduced that storage integration with.
It says they're not seeing this. Does that say present your screen or anything at the top of your thing?
Okay, let me see.
That'll go.
Hit them. Didn't go. All right, great.
Up there.
Sorry about that, guys. So we are now you can see the interface for Veeam. This is the primary Veeam interface, and I mentioned our backup from storage snapshots. So I don't have the EMC tab to show you, but I do have the NetApp, and I understand that a lot of the champion customers are on NetApp, so this is a good one to show. So if you haven't seen our storage integration, we do in fact not just rely on VMware snapshots like we have traditionally for doing the VMware API for data protection based backups, but we can also integrate at the array level. And it's a different technology. It's quite different. So the first thing to show you is the fact that we can log into an array.
So you use an API that communicates directly with storage array. Takes, let's call the power of the storage array to help you with the snapshot.
Correct.
Oh, perfect.
It takes the load off of the production environment, right? And so it also allows us to limit the amount of time that our VMware snapshots are open. Because, quite frankly, take the VMware snapshot, we then tell the array to take a snapshot, and then we immediately tell VMware to commit the snapshot. So those snapshots aren't open as long, and they then back up directly from the storage array. I can do this with HP storage, NetApp, and EMC. So you'll notice here if I can see the array in my infrastructure, and so what we can do is, and with all of our array integration, and we will be adding more in the future. future, we can do is we can browse those snapshots. So if I come over here into the backup section and I come under backups, typically with Veeam, you back up the disk. Of course, we have tape integration as well. But storage snapshots. So I dig into one of these stored snapshots, I can see one of the VMs that's been backed up, and I can simply right-click, and I could do that instant VM recovery I mentioned. We can do a guest file, or we can do application items, and we'll talk about those application items with the integration we have with SQL and Exchange and SharePoint and Active Directory, and now also Oracle.
I did get a question here. Is integration available with HP Store Once hardware?
Absolutely. That's new in version 9, and we will touch on that, but I'll talk about that now. So we have integration with the Catalyst protocol. So what's great about that is it gives us the ability to leverage that protocol, which is a source-side deduplication technology. So data has to transfer across the wire. We also can write directly to the store once over Fiber Channel. So if you are lucky enough to be able to have storage integration and or you're pulling your backups in SAN mode across a Fiber Channel environment or an iSCSI environment, or we also have direct NFS, which I'll touch on. But if you want a LAN-free backup and you can pull across Fiber Channel and then write across Fiber Channel, that's a pretty nice setup that you have.
Is this not available with an equal logic array?
Correct. So we have a limited number of arrays that we have support, and equal logic, as of now, is not one of the ones that's on our compatibility list.
Okay. I gotta have everything, right?
Maybe, right? We don't really have a very transparent roadmap, so we're coming, but we don't have that information to share, unfortunately. I would love to know.
Okay. Well, keep giving you questions as we get them, so go ahead. Keep on with your demo.
All right, and yes, we welcome those questions. This is great. I appreciate it. So again, from storage snapshot. So what makes this special? Well, in most environments, people take backups once a day, right? They'll do a full on the weekend maybe, or full once a month, and do incrementals every night. And it's at night. So what happens if you lose an application item at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Well, or say it's 1:04. Well, if you were doing array-based snapshots and had a product like Veeam that could read those snapshots, you'd be able to do an application item restore from that 1 o'clock snapshot. So you have a 4-minute RPO in that case, instead of going back to last night.
So would that be part of that instant VM recovery, or not? Not
specifically. Okay. It's what we're doing here is we're essentially, for these specific applications, we're just cracking open those databases and through our explorers giving access to those applications. With instant VM recovery, that's where if you've got a blue screen and you needed to recover the server, you would just simply go through our wizard and boot the server from that array snapshot, and again with a 4-minute RPO.
Right. It would be a point in time.
Okay. Correct. Now, and we'll get to that SQL integration a little bit later, but we have great, we get down to the transaction level with SQL and Oracle. So it's not everything's point in time, and that's a very special capability that we can do that without the need to be a DBA, right? You don't have to know how to replay logs in your as a DBA would if you're a generalist. And let's face it, a lot of our IT generalists out there are responsible for backups, and they're responsible for backing up applications that may not be experts in. With Veeam Explorer, we give that ability to the generalist and make it much easier.
Well, it's a question. He says, I have a networker and a data domain. Everything works except I can only back up the VMs to data domain. I like to use the JBOD as a backup storage as well. If I use Veeam to back up some of the VMs to JBOD, and will the mix and match of the backup software cause conflicts between Veeam and networker? Patches I need to look for.
It's a great question, and I don't think so. I think that's going to work just fine. The reason is because with Veeam, we're going to talk directly with your hypervisor, and we are storage agnostic. We also have integration with the data domain, by the way, with their Boost protocol, which is similar to the Catalyst from HP Store Once.
Wow. So, see, you do get most of them.
Oh, yeah, lots of alliance partners, and lots of technology that we have. Again, we've continued to innovate and iterate our technology and grow it into the enterprise.
So another new feature. What's this Cloud Connect that I've heard so much about?
Well, that's a very cool technology. So, in version 9, we're in Cloud Connect version 2, and essentially what that I'll start with Cloud Connect version 1 and what we had in essentially is just the ability to send your backup copy jobs. For instance, after you do a backup, you want to get that off site, right? Well, not everyone has a secondary site. Not everyone has the bandwidth to get backups off, or maybe they're still using SneakerNet, or maybe they're still using Tape, right? Which is, Veeam works with Tape. With Cloud Connect, what we do there is, and we have, Veeam Cloud Service Providers, which Champion is one. I think there's going to be an announcement later in this broadcast.
In fact, I brought this up on purpose, Brad. I know that our target, the canopy, will be a visible target to anyone out there that has your Veeam Cloud Connect. And I believe that works on version 8 or version 9, correct?
Correct. Yes. So it's very, very easy to set up as a service provider. Your service provider, essentially, version 8 is just a target or a repository for your backup copies. So they would, you would to Champion, and they would essentially provide you a login, and it's Veeam to Veeam communication. Kevin mentioned security earlier, right? What we've done at Veeam is we've taken the complexity away from the service providers, or the need for the service provider to deal with all that complexity, and we've integrated that directly into our product. So we also have eliminated the need for a VPN connection. So we do this across SSL connection. We have a username and password authentication, as well as a certificate-based authentication. And when Veeam Cloud customer would log into a service provider, they would simply provide the username and password that they've been given, and the IP address or DNS name that their service like Champion has given them. And as they log in, they will see a new repository appear in the repositories. When they go to create a backup copy job, they would simply just
choose that one.
And voila, that's it. It just goes off site.
Couldn't be much easier, right, than username, password, location, and point and click.
Essentially it.
Yeah.
Very simple. And it's secure, though. That's what's important is, at Veeam, we made this, easy yet secure for the service providers to have a multi-tenant solution without the barriers of entry and the complexities, right? So Veeam really has a great way of reducing the complexity. Once you see something in Veeam, it's pretty intuitive. You'll know how to do it.
Well, the beauty is no more tapes. You're compliant with whatever regulatory body you have to be compliant with for off-site storage. And to get it back when you need it, it's like Iron Mountain where you make a request and 3 days later the tape shows up. If you want to go back and get those old backups, they're sitting there available for you all the time.
Correct. We offer WAN acceleration, so we can help you get your off-site quicker. Right? So that's important to note. You may have other solutions, but with Veeam, and you have that built in.
Wow.
So it's very
no
handy.
Extra cost.
It's just licensing, right? So at Veeam, we have, our licensing model is pretty simple. You version, and there's no agents, there's no, for applications, it's, protected sockets. So I have Cloud Connect, what I like to call Cloud Connect version 2. And with Connect version 2, what that does is give you the ability to DR as a service. Now, in version, we were just moving backups off-site. Now, we do backup and replication. So what allows us to do is do replicas to the cloud.
Like that instant recovery repositories in the cloud.
Yes, your service provider provides you the compute resources and a production level data store. You would just replicate, and with failover plans, with a portal that you can log in and just see, you would use your credentials, you see your failover plan, and you would just initiate it. It can do a full failover of a site, or it could do just a single VM.
Wow.
Again, we've taken the complexity of the networking out of that and really made that a lot easier.
That fenced-in environment that you were talking about before, that would be available for them up there too, for almost like a test dev site. No?
Not yet, unfortunately, but that will be coming.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Because you can do that today with you can do regular